Welcome back to the program. The race in the primary is open and going on right now, folks, in the 37th district here for state senate. And one of the candidates is Alex Mohajer.
That's right.
Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
So tell us a little bit about your background. And you're a lawyer, and you decided to jump into politics. What's that about? What were you thinking there?
Well, I was born and raised here in Irvine. I'm the son of Iranian working class immigrants. My mom came here from Iran in the 1970s to give her kids opportunities she didn't have. And she was a single mom of 4 kids who spoke barely any English and worked multiple jobs and went to school at night just to put food on the table. And that sacrifice was so that our kids could go to good public schools. And so I attended Irvine K through 12 schools. And when my family couldn't afford to send me to college right away, I attended Irvine Valley College before getting into UC Berkeley, one of the best public schools in the world. And then I decided to go to law school. And, you know, I think my story and our family story is a story of the American promise in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I have become more and more worried over the last few years that that American promise, we're not making good on it for the next generation, and we're not taking care of the generation that preceded us. So I'm fighting for the American promise that families like mine struggled and sacrificed for, which is why I decided to run.
Okay. And your campaign, you're a Democrat, but you're going against an incumbent Democrat in the district, right? So
not exactly. The incumbent Democrat is Dave Min, and he's running for Congress.
He's running. Okay, that's right.
Yes.
He's running for Congress. So you're kind of jumping in kind of an open race. So. Your platform, tell me a little bit about where we are there in terms of your platform. You have some issues on homelessness with school and teacher pay and mental health, and a lot of like, you know, the very progressive type of candidates as a Democrat. You would think so, right, in California?
Well, that's the issue, is even members of my party take money from special interests, which is why we haven't been able to make meaningful progress on some of these really pressing, important issues. So I am challenging both the Democratic and Republican parties to get special interest money out of our politics. And we're going to do that to get the economic dignity of working families and seniors here in Orange County. That includes affordable housing that ensures that our seniors are taken care of with health care and that they are able to afford where they live. Right now, 5 million seniors rely either on Social Security benefits, disability benefits, or their pensions. And 5.5 million seniors in California report not having enough basic income to meet their needs. A third of seniors in Orange County report not having enough income to meet their basic needs. That's a major problem.
We have needs, but what are the concrete solutions to that? Let's take your homelessness. You're asking for zero homelessness. You want to end homelessness in California. How do you do that without a massive government infusion of monies into building homes and mental health and all of the things that go to that, without a massive infusion of raising taxes for the middle class and upper class?
We don't need to raise taxes on folks to get this done. And I think first we got to diagnose the problem accurately. If your elected officials are telling you that homelessness is because of drug addiction, for instance, they have misdiagnosed the problem. The majority of homeless people in the United States actually work a job, and the fastest growing rate of homeless people in the state of California are seniors. And so it's a major problem, and we can do things like pass tenant protections legislatively that protect people from slipping into homelessness. We can reform the state's Costa-Hawkins law, which would empower cities to implement locally controlled rent control ordinances. We can, yes, invest in more affordable housing solutions by just ensuring that our housing element is meeting its affordable housing quota to make sure that we're actually meeting the needs of our local cities in building that affordable housing. And for me, it's a 3-pronged solution. We need more housing, we need tenant protections, we need more eviction protections, and we need more affordable housing.
What do you say to landlords and those folks who say, hey, we raise according to the market rates, and you know, you putting an artificial dampening on that in a free market is a challenge?
Well, you know, I think that when we're facing a crisis, it's time to meet that crisis head on. So this is a crisis. Our housing situation in California is a crisis, and we will work with landlords, but we are going to put some tenant protections in to make sure that they're not abusing their tenants and that folks aren't slipping into homelessness. It's very important. One more thing I want to mention. Housing stabilization subsidies. This would allow tens of thousands of seniors and disabled people to keep or access housing right now, and it's going to be crucial to ensure that this problem does not continue to worsen. Because right now, people are looking at that state legislature with a Democratic supermajority and wondering why things have gotten harder for them. So I am challenging my own party on this to get the special interest money out. That includes landlord lobbies, apartment owners associations, and these corporate PACs that are driving up prices and displacing people from their homes.
Up in LA, they did something where they have they require now an advocate for the tenant to be represented in court because, you know, a lot of times the tenant who's being evicted shows up there with no legal representation, so that's been put in place. Is that something also that you think, hey, maybe that should be something that part of the overall plan?
You know, I'm a big fan of local control on a lot of those issues, but yeah, I think we need tenant advocates and tenant rights, and we need to protect against abusive practices towards tenants. And I've been talking to seniors here in Laguna Woods for the past year, and I've been hearing their stories. I spoke with a woman just yesterday who's 85 years old. She's living in a couch here in Laguna Woods. And she is worried about becoming homeless because her income isn't enough. That is just not right. So there's just right and there's just wrong. And that's wrong. And we need to fight back against it.
What is the solution, though, if someone simply doesn't have the money, if they've got to that point of retirement and for whatever circumstances, they don't have enough of a nest egg? And how do you infuse the capital in there, or how do you make it so that they're not going to be evicted if they have real costs?
Well, we're going to drive down costs of other things like healthcare. So I'm a proponent of a single-payer healthcare model. This will save the state actually hundreds of billions of dollars a year. Since we're so worried about state spending, right? It saves the state hundreds of billions of dollars a year and frees up disposable income for everyday working families and seniors so that their cost of living isn't so high. And then we're going to get housing stabilization subsidies for seniors so that when they're just a little short on that rent, that they're not slipping into homelessness or living on a couch because they can't afford to live here anymore. And that's my mom's story, by the way. That's the story of a lot of seniors here. My mom worked a union job for 30 years, and she lives off of a pension now, and she has to rent a room out in her home to a college student because she can no longer afford to live here. And that's just not
right. College students are having a hard enough time affording to live here, too.
And college students are becoming homeless as well. Our college students and our seniors, that is a moral failure of both of our political parties. And it's time that we got the special interest money out and actually advocated for people's economic dignity. That's all we are asking for. It's what people deserve, and it's what I'm going to hopefully accomplish for people.
All right. Well, Alex Mohajer, candidate for State Senate in the 37th District, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
And I would love if your viewers would visit me at alexforca.com, and remember that the election's coming up, and you have until March 5th to vote. I'm in your State Senate 37 sample voter guide.
You got it. You can find out more about Alex on his website and all his stances and all his positions and platforms. We're going to be right back with the Boomers. Stay with us.